In a dramatic turn of events, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at delaying the enforcement of a federal ban on TikTok, a social media platform owned by the Chinese company ByteDance. This order, issued shortly after he took office, seeks to extend the ban's enforcement period by 75 days, allowing his administration time to explore potential solutions regarding the app's ownership and national security implications. The law mandating the ban had already gone into effect on January 20, 2025, and there are significant legal questions about whether Trump's order can effectively override an existing federal statute. As Trump addressed reporters, he expressed optimism about the potential value of TikTok, claiming it could be worth up to $1 trillion and suggesting that the U.S. deserves a substantial stake in any future deal concerning the app. If we create the value by approving, in other words, that approval gives a tremendous value, he stated. However, the practicalities of such assertions remain unclear, particularly as the law stipulates that TikTok must be sold to a non-Chinese entity or risk being blocked entirely. The executive order has raised eyebrows among legal experts and lawmakers alike, many of whom are questioning the constitutionality of a president unilaterally halting the enforcement of a law recently upheld by the Supreme Court. The concerns stem from the potential overreach of presidential power and the implications for the rule of law in the United States. Trump's administration has framed this move as an effort to protect national security while also maintaining access to a platform utilized by approximately 170 million Americans. Critics, however, warn that such actions could undermine the integrity of existing laws designed to safeguard U.S. interests. The ban on TikTok was rooted in national security concerns, with lawmakers fearing that the Chinese government could exploit the app to gather sensitive data on American users or disseminate propaganda. This led to the passage of the law last year, which was signed by former President Joe Biden following a bipartisan agreement in Congress. The law also imposed penalties on companies that continued to support TikTok, further complicating the app's status in the U.S. market. Interestingly, Trump's newfound support for TikTok marks a significant shift from his earlier stance during his first term, where he attempted to enforce a ban on the app and sought an American buyer for its assets. His recent engagement with the platform, including his personal use, seems to have influenced his change of heart. "I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally," he admitted while signing the order. The implications of this executive order extend beyond legalities. They touch on the cultural and economic fabric of social media in America. TikTok has transformed the online landscape, becoming a vital tool for influencers and small businesses that rely on its unique format for marketing and audience engagement. With its sudden disappearance from App Stores, users expressed dismay, highlighting the app's role in their daily lives and the broader implications of its potential ban. As the situation evolves, it remains to be seen how the courts will interpret Trump's executive order and whether it can genuinely stall the enforcement of the existing law. The coming weeks will be crucial as the administration navigates the complexities of this issue with national security, economic interests, and the rights of American consumers hanging in the balance. The outcome could reshape not only the future of TikTok in the U.S. but also set important precedents regarding executive power and the regulation of foreign-owned technology in a rapidly changing digital landscape. In an era where personal relationships and professional lives often intertwine, the complexities of human emotions take center stage. This dynamic is poignantly illustrated in a recent column by Carolyn Hax, where she delves into the aftermath of a marriage fractured by infidelity. The narrative explores the emotional turmoil faced by a husband whose wife has left him for a coworker. Hax provides a thought-provoking exploration of how individuals navigate encounters with those who have altered the course of their lives, particularly when it comes to confronting the coworker who has become a significant figure in their personal narrative. Hax articulates the husband's dilemma, highlighting the delicate balance between maintaining dignity and expressing genuine feelings of betrayal. What do you say to the person who has not only taken your partner but has also become a part of your life story? She muses, emphasizing how such confrontations can be laden with unspoken tension.
The emotional ramifications of such encounters are profound, as they can evoke feelings ranging from anger to a desire for closure.
The column resonates particularly in today's work culture, where the boundaries between personal and professional relationships are increasingly blurred. According to recent studies, nearly 50% of individuals have reported some form of romantic involvement with a colleague, leading to a rise in workplace dynamics that can complicate personal lives. This phenomenon raises critical questions about ethics in professional relationships and highlights the need for clear boundaries. In a separate piece, the political landscape is similarly fraught with complexities, as seen in the recent developments surrounding the Johnson administration. Reports indicate that aides discouraged a subpoena for Hutchinson, citing concerns over lawmakers' potential exposure due to sexual texts. This revelation sheds light on the precarious nature of political alliances and the lengths to which individuals will go to protect their interests. The implications are significant, suggesting a culture of secrecy and the potential for scandal that could reverberate through the political sphere. Meanwhile, international relations remain tense as expectations mount ahead of a scheduled call between Trump and Putin. With both sides staking out their positions, the call represents a critical juncture in U.S.-Russia relations, reflecting broader geopolitical tensions. Analysts are closely monitoring the situation, noting that the outcomes could have lasting impacts on global diplomacy and security. Amid these political developments, President Trump has moved to close a Pentagon office dedicated to curbing civilian deaths in military operations. This decision has sparked widespread debate over its implications for humanitarian efforts and international law. Critics argue that dismantling such an office could lead to increased civilian casualties, thereby straining the United States' relationships with allies and humanitarian organizations. As these narratives unfold, they illuminate the myriad ways in which personal, political, and international dynamics intersect. The complexities of human relationships, whether in the workplace or on the global stage, continue to shape our world. Looking ahead, it is clear that the ramifications of these developments will require careful navigation, as individuals and leaders alike must confront the consequences of their actions in an increasingly interconnected environment. As we move forward, the potential for both personal and political reconciliation remains a vital point of discussion, reminding us that the human experience is often fraught with challenges that demand both resilience and reflection. In a landscape marked by political turbulence, the events of January 24, 2025 have revealed a complex interplay of reactions and consequences stemming from Donald Trump's recent actions. As the former president continues to exert influence over U.S. politics, his return to the national spotlight has prompted a surprising response from international observers and domestic stakeholders alike. The day began with reports highlighting how various Asian central banks have started to perceive Trump's presidency differently, viewing him as a stabilizing force amid global economic uncertainties. This shift is particularly intriguing, considering the volatility that often accompanies Trump's political maneuvers. An analyst noted, despite the chaos often associated with his leadership style, some markets are showing signs of resilience, interpreting his actions as a steadying hand rather than a disruptive force. However, this perception stands in stark contrast to the palpable disruption unfolding within the U.S. government itself. Trump's so-called shock therapy approach has led to significant operational slowdowns, with multiple government agencies grinding to a halt. The implications of this paralysis are vast, affecting everything from regulatory oversight to public services. A senior official commented, "We are navigating unprecedented waters, and the lack of clear direction is hindering our ability to function effectively." Internationally, Trump's rhetoric continues to provoke strong reactions, particularly from Russia. The Kremlin has brushed off Trump's recent threats regarding Ukraine, signaling a toughened stance against perceived American interventions. Analysts are beginning to question the efficacy of such threats, suggesting that they may be more bluster than actual policy. The reality is that Russia has recalibrated its strategy and is no longer as susceptible to American posturing as it once was, said a geopolitical expert. The political landscape is further complicated by the recent release of individuals convicted for their roles in the January 6 Capitol riots. These individuals are now back on the streets and appear ready to rally behind Trump's agenda, potentially intensifying the existing divisions within American society. A former lawmaker expressed concern over this development, stating, "The return of these individuals poses a significant risk of escalating tensions and undermining the rule of law." As these narratives unfold, it becomes clear that Trump's influence is both a source of division and a catalyst for unexpected stability in certain areas. While his supporters may feel emboldened by recent events, the broader implications of his actions are likely to reverberate throughout the U.S. political system and beyond. Looking ahead, the coming weeks will be critical in determining how these dynamics evolve. As lawmakers and citizens alike grapple with the consequences of Trump's actions, the potential for further unrest looms large. The global community will be watching closely as the interplay between U.S. domestic politics and international relations continues to shape the geopolitical landscape of 2025. In a significant development for the artificial intelligence landscape, OpenAI has announced that it will be at the helm of the Stargate project, a high-profile initiative backed by major players like SoftBank, Oracle, and the Abu Dhabi State AI Fund (MGX). Announced during a White House event attended by tech luminaries including OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman, the project aims to revolutionize AI infrastructure with plans to invest between $100 billion and $500 billion over the next 4 years. Despite the ambitious goals and the high-profile nature of the announcement, sources indicate that the Stargate project is still in its infancy. They haven't figured out the structure, they haven't figured out the financing, they don't have the money committed, noted one insider. With no government funding secured, Stargate is set to exclusively serve OpenAI once operational. Altman has long emphasized the necessity of robust data and computing power to fuel OpenAI's vision of creating advanced AI systems capable of surpassing human cognitive skills. The project is expected to be funded primarily through contributions from OpenAI and SoftBank, each committing over $15 billion. Other partners will contribute as well, with SoftBank reportedly injecting existing funds. However, the initiative has raised eyebrows due to its lack of a solid financial foundation and clear operational structure. OpenAI and SoftBank are also navigating potential competition from Microsoft, which has invested heavily in its own AI infrastructure. The announcement of Stargate aligns with broader trends in the tech sector, where companies are racing to enhance their AI capabilities. Microsoft, for instance, has recently launched a $30 billion AI infrastructure fund, indicating that the competition for AI supremacy is heating up. Altman's discussions with SoftBank's Masayoshi Son about AI projects have been ongoing for nearly 2 years, culminating in this week's announcement. Simultaneously, the Bank of Japan BOJ has raised its short-term interest rates to 0.5%, the highest level in 17 years, reflecting a decisive move towards normalizing monetary policy amid rising economic activity and inflation. This shift, which was approved by an 8-to-1 vote, comes as Japan grapples with the need to balance economic growth against the backdrop of global financial uncertainty. BOJ Governor Kazuo Ueda emphasized that future rate adjustments would depend on ongoing economic developments, indicating a cautious approach to further increases. The recent rate hike is significant as it marks a departure from the ultra-accommodative policies that have characterized Japan's approach for decades. Analysts predict that this could pave the way for additional incremental increases throughout the year, potentially reaching a policy rate of 1.5% by mid-2025. The decision underscores a broader trend of tightening monetary policy among global central banks in response to inflationary pressures. As these financial adjustments occur, U.S. equities are experiencing a notable surge, now trading at their highest valuations relative to bonds since the dot-com era. Investors are increasingly drawn to major technology stocks, which are perceived as resilient amid fluctuating economic conditions. The S&P 500's forward earnings yield has dropped to 3.9% while 10-year Treasury yields have climbed to 4.65%, suggesting a decline in the equity risk premium to levels last seen during the early 2000s. Market analysts express mixed sentiments regarding the sustainability of these valuations. While some argue that the dominance of major tech companies justifies high multiples, others caution against the risks posed by such concentrated investments. The current landscape reflects a complex interplay of economic recovery, inflation, and investor sentiment, with many urging a diversification of equity exposure to mitigate potential risks. In summary, the Stargate project represents a bold step for OpenAI and its partners in reshaping the AI infrastructure landscape, albeit amid financial uncertainties. Concurrently, the BOJ's interest rate hike signals a pivotal shift in Japan's economic policy that could resonate across global markets. As the tech sector continues to evolve and investor strategies adapt, the coming months will be crucial for both AI initiatives and broader economic trends. In an era marked by escalating mental health crises and socio-political upheavals, recent developments in mental health care highlight a troubling intersection of systemic inadequacies and the profound impact of global events. With the war in Gaza and its aftermath stirring new waves of anxiety and depression among Palestinian refugees, the urgency for reform in mental health services has never been more critical. The psychological toll of war is evident as reports indicate a surge in depression and insomnia among Palestinian refugees who fled the violence of the 1967 conflict. These individuals find themselves grappling with a constant state of panic, exacerbating existing mental health challenges. Experts emphasize that such trauma can have lasting effects on entire communities, underscoring the need for comprehensive mental health support in conflict zones. In England, a striking 50-fold increase in diagnoses of gender dysphoria among children over the past decade has sparked intense debates regarding mental health treatment and the resources allocated to it. This alarming trend highlights a growing awareness of gender identity issues, yet it also points to a potential crisis in the availability of appropriate mental health care for youth. As families seek guidance, the challenge remains to provide tailored supportive environments that address the unique needs of young individuals navigating their identities. Meanwhile, in Australia, the state of New South Wales is facing a mental health crisis of its own. Recent reports reveal the closure of over 60 mental health beds in the region, raising alarms among health officials and advocates. Leaked memos suggest that hospitals are bracing for mass resignations among psychiatrists, further straining an already overburdened system. Insiders warned that the backup arrangements being rushed into place are dangerous, leaving vulnerable patients without essential care. As Cameron Ahmed, a frontline staff member, noted, it is patients who suffer most amid these systemic failures, as psychiatrists who have long supported the under-resourced system now find themselves at a breaking point. The alarming rise in child mental health admissions to acute wards in England, which has spiked by 65% over the past decade, is another indicator of the escalating crisis. Hospital wards are struggling to cope with increasing cases of self-harm and eating disorders, raising critical questions about the adequacy of mental health resources and the effectiveness of current interventions. The urgency of addressing mental health issues is further underscored by the broader societal context in which these challenges unfold. As economic disparities widen and political tensions rise, individuals are often left grappling with despair and hopelessness. The narratives of those affected by these crises reveal an urgent need for systemic change. One voice in this narrative is Gary Stevenson, a former trader turned commentator and author who has openly discussed his struggles with mental health amid the tumult of financial markets. Stevenson, who rose to prominence in the banking world before confronting his own demons, emphasizes the disconnect between wealth and genuine happiness. His personal experience resonates with many, illustrating that even those who appear successful can find themselves battling profound internal struggles. As mental health issues continue to command attention globally, it is clear that the path forward demands not only immediate action but also a re-evaluation of the systems in place. With communities in crisis and individuals seeking support, stakeholders across sectors must collaborate to ensure that mental health care is accessible, effective, and reflective of the diverse needs of the population. Looking ahead, the challenges are immense, but so too is the potential for meaningful change. As awareness grows and advocacy intensifies, there is hope that the systemic reforms needed to address mental health issues will gain traction. The intersection of global events, personal experiences, and societal pressures underscores the urgency of the moment, and it is imperative that we act collectively to foster a healthier future for all. In a heartfelt tribute published in the Vallejo Times-Herald, community activist Ravi C. Shankar reflected on the impact that Jessica York, a former reporter for the publication, had on his life and the local community. York's passing at a youthful age has left a noticeable void, as her contributions to journalism and civic engagement resonated deeply with many, including Shankar, who shared a personal account of their interactions. Shankar reminisced about his early experiences with the Times-Herald, where he would often read letters to the editor and op-eds that shaped his understanding of local and national issues. It was during his involvement with participatory budgeting and his appointment to Vallejo's sister city commission that he first crossed paths with York. He described a pivotal moment when she approached him at City Hall shortly after he had taken the oath as a commissioner. "I was pleasantly surprised," he recalled, noting that she had taken the initiative to interview him, recognizing his community service and hinting at his potential future in local politics. During their conversation, Shankar found himself inspired by York's straightforward and community-focused questions. Her friendly demeanor and philosophical insights provided a space for reflection on the future of activism in Vallejo. The next day, he was excited to learn that an article featuring him had been published in the Times-Herald, a testament to York's ability to recognize and elevate local voices. Maybe that article sowed the seeds of stepping up to serve the city, he pondered, indicating how her encouragement may have influenced his political aspirations. Throughout his years of activism, Shankar credited York with helping him connect with numerous other dedicated public servants in the area. Their conversations and her supportive journalism illuminated paths of civic engagement that resonated within the community. He expressed his sorrow over her untimely passing, stating, "I will always remember her spirit and love of community." Shankar's tribute not only honors York's legacy but also serves as a reminder of journalism's power to inspire civic action and connect individuals to broader societal narratives. As the community reflects on the loss of Jessica York, the impact of her work continues to echo through the lives she touched. Shankar concluded his tribute by thanking York for the meaningful exchange they shared and for her commitment to making Vallejo a better place. This poignant remembrance highlights the importance of local journalism in fostering community ties and encouraging active participation in civic matters, a legacy that will undoubtedly inspire future generations of activists and leaders.